Hello, hello. Sorry. Oh no, we're not. I was just about to say sorry that we're a little bit late, but we're not. We're not late. We're dead on 7 p.m. Hello and welcome back to this week's stream. We have got a few new subscribers, so if you're a new subscriber and you're watching, welcome to the weekly streams. If you are new here, follow me on Instagram at the top there and join our group chat that we've got on Instagram, where I update everybody on recent YouTube videos, upcoming YouTube videos, and when I'm doing these streams, which is normally every Wednesday, but sometimes that date changes. And if you do want to call in here, call in with any questions or anything you want to say about the topic that I'm talking about, feel free to call in and hopefully we can have a discussion. I'm just going to quickly double check that my phone is on loud. Yes, it is. So feel free to call in or don't. It's completely up to you. So with this stream, also another thing as well, I did it last stream, but the lighting is a little bit different. I wanted this really warm orange glow, homely lighting setup, because I feel like it's a little bit boring if it's just the white balance is proper. So I like the fact that it's just this nice and warm look. Anyway, I just wanted to mention that. This week's stream, there's not really too much to talk about. There's not really much going on in the world of filmmaking, or at least there's not much going on in the world of filmmaking that involves me and my level. So I'm sort of, it's going to be a bit of a Frankenstein put together of the stream. So I wanted to just start off by saying, so we've got a few new members in the Instagram group chat. So if you're watching, welcome. And we do have a few new subscribers. So like I said, thank you for subscribing, and if you are watching this, then welcome to the weekly streams. Okay, so I touched upon this on the last stream, which is I don't want this live stream to just be all about me all the time. I want to hear from you guys what clients that if you work in if you're a freelance camera op, what new clients have you got this week or the past 7 days? What projects are you working on that you're really excited to work on? Let me know what those projects are. Because I want to know, because I will also, I want to discuss the projects that I'm working on. I want to discuss the highs and lows of the past 7 days. So yeah, that's it. I mean, what I've got here on my list of things to talk about is my first one is for me personally, work is really quiet at the minute. This time last year, I was working on courses. For clients, I was working on just loads of different projects. But this year, and again, it's just one of those things where every business goes through highs and lows. And at the minute, it's just, for me, it's just really quiet. I'm really, I'm looking for work and I'm trying to make new connections with new people. And I'm finding it very hard to, and I think, in all honesty, I think it's just one of those things where and things are slowly trickling in. It's not as if nothing's happening. There are projects that are slowly coming in, but it was just this crazy rush before Christmas to get all of these projects done. And I was really busy just before Christmas, trying to get all those projects done. So that was great, and I've got that, as I would say like a backup reserve for these January. But this time last year I was busy doing courses. I think it's just luck and being at the right time at the right place. But in all honesty, I think it's because people are just broke. In all honesty, it's not just individuals, it's companies as well. Big companies, small companies, businesses, they're just getting hit with so many, not to get too political, but they're just getting hit with all these different forms of taxes. And I think just the economy in general, again, I'm not an expert in any of that. I'm just speaking from an individual with a freelance business. I just think that people are just genuinely broke. I think it's also to do with the landscape of film changing, and the landscape of content is changing. Or it's not changing, but it's changed and it's going to continue to change, and we just need to. It's not a bad thing. Like you can't reject change. It's going to happen regardless with any industry, any business, and that's one of the downsides of running a business, is that you need to keep up to date with what's happening in the world and in the country. What works and what doesn't work, what's popular and what's not popular, what's valuable and what's not valuable. What are clients and customers and individuals going to spend their money on? You as a business, you need to, and this is something I need to work on as well. I'm not trying to sit on my high horse and be like, oh, I know everything. I'm just saying, like, when I'm quiet, these are things that I need to work on, which is where can I, what can change, what needs to change. So that, I think that leads me on to my next point, which is what to do when you're not busy and when you're not working. And I think one of those things goes on to, should you start a YouTube channel in 2026? And the reason I sort of bring this up is, when you're not busy, it's great to have a YouTube channel or have some form of content on Instagram or things like that. So when you're not working, you are still working in some way. Obviously, you can email people, you can, try and use outreach to find new clients. But having that YouTube channel, or this YouTube channel, has been extremely beneficial, but there is a lot of work that goes into it. Videos they're not easy to do. But when I am quiet, I've got 2 videos lined up, and I think they're just really, it keeps you up here, it keeps you focused, because you're doing something creative for yourself. And I think with what we do, if you're a freelance camera op or you're freelance in the creative space, I genuinely think it's really important to do something that's creative outside of work. Otherwise you lose the sense of why you're doing this, the whole reason that you've done this, and all of a sudden it becomes a job, and solely a job. It's not something that you do for fun anymore. So obviously I'm going to say yes to starting a YouTube channel in 2026, and I'll go through the benefits, but just for when you're not working, it gives you an excuse to do something when you're not working. When I say not working, I mean you haven't got clients at the minute, you've got no client projects that are paying at the time. So obviously, if you're thinking about it and you're like, oh, it's too late, I've missed it, it's all about TikTok and Instagram Reels and all of that, I strongly disagree. I think if there's someone on YouTube with a specific channel with a specific focus, and they're talking about something that they're passionate about and they love to talk about, and someone has $2,000 or a couple of £100 for a bit of kit, they're going to watch a 15-minute video on that topic, because they're like, well, should I spend £200 over here, or should I spend £100 over here? Like, what's worth it? People will watch that kind of content. But I think if you go into YouTube, and again, this is cliche, I know, but if you go into YouTube thinking I'm going to do it for the money, I'm not monetized, and I've put so much time into, and quite frankly money into YouTube in terms of getting studios and getting equipment. This is more on the early side, but I've still spent a lot of time on, and I'm not monetized. But where I do benefit from it is just getting sent free equipment, and that for me is what's, obviously it's like to keep me creative, and it's not necessarily for the money, but what's really useful is just getting sent things that you do genuinely use. And trust me, I've turned down big I've had to turn down people who've said, we'll send you this light, and some of these lights are like £700. They're not cheap, and they were like, we can send it to you, you can keep it for free, obviously, if you're putting all that work in. But they said to me, like, you have to send us a script, and we have to approve your script first. And I said, I was like, well, I'm not going to do that, because first of all, writing a script takes at least a day to to write something that's cohesive, and two, when I say script, I mean like bullet points, just bullet points, and you just hit those bullet points. But it still takes a day to write it. Two, you need to use the product properly until you can actually write a review, that's genuine and not just shot in a studio where you just, because they send you a list of features that the product has. And those lists of features are useful because you can, use them in a practical sense if it's needed. But they sent me that and they were like, we need to approve your script first, and I refused to do it. And I could have easily said, yeah, here's my scripts, I'll praise your light and get a £700 light, and boom, I've got a £700 light. But yeah, they just I said, I'm not going to do that, and they were like, okay, well, we can't send you. And it's like, well, I'm not going to spend a day writing a script and then need you guys to approve it. It's one of those things where you do the review, and lost my train of thought. I'm talking too fast. I need to slow it down. But going back to what I was saying, you do the review and you send it to the person who sent you the product, and that should be it. There should be no, here's the review. What's your feedback? Oh, could you change this? Could you change that? I don't believe it should be like that. It should be like, here's the product, give us an honest review, and there we go. But this is like a little side note, which is a review a proper review if it's an endorsement, if you're getting it sent for free? Because surely you're going to be a little bit, because you haven't paid for it, you're going to be a little bit biased into what you say because you got it sent for free, and you want to continue to get free stuff. And it's a really interesting conversation, especially in the world of filmmaking. And there was this on YouTube, it was this huge war that happened between all these YouTubers, which is getting sent free stuff. It's not a proper genuine review if you're getting it and you literally get a review out within a week. Even a week is not enough time to justify a review. So anyway, the reason that I bring this up is because let me just change my screen. There we go. I got sent this by iFootage. I got it sent about 2 months ago. And I said to them quite politely, iFootage, I also met them at IBC. I met some of the team members at IBC in Amsterdam, and they're really nice people, like really, really nice. And they love film, they're filmmakers, they love filmmaking, and they love doing content, and you could tell that because they were so up for it when I saw them at IBC. Anyway, they sent me this stand, and I've been using it, and it's really, really good. But they sent it to me months ago, and I just politely said to them, look, I want to use this in real world productions, and I've got nothing really booked in that will justify it at the minute. So in my next video, a review on a lens, I'm going to do like a small sponsored section on this light, on this light stand, or monopod stand, whatever you want to call it. Do a little sponsored section because I can't justify an entire video on just this one stand. So yeah, my point is that I sort of just explained to them that I need to use it in a real world scenario. I'm not just going to shoot it in a studio and be like, look, this is what it can do. I want to actually show you, the audience, what this light is capable in a real world client production. But so far, I've used it, and a lot of interviews that I've been doing, there's like very little space, in these rooms. I'm sure if people out there know that you haven't got a lot of space in these rooms. So this is where this stand really comes in useful, is that you can just put them in the corner of the room and it's not taking up loads of space. And I put the 1x4, or is it 2x4? 2x4 or 1x4 Godox light. It's a big light. It's quite heavy, the rectangle one. and I put it on the stand, and I just tested it, and I knocked it just a little bit, and because it's weighted at the bottom, it does literally come back. So you could knock it and the stand will come back. But I'm also working on a client job that's coming up in the beginning of February, and it can go really, really high. Okay, I'm gonna put it up really, really high, and I'm gonna mount using a clamp, put the GoPro on top of it, and just get this, like, all the way up the top in the corner of the room, up high, just looking down at everyone, nice and wide. And I think in situations like that, something like that could be really useful. You could even get a camera, but the only thing is, it's like, how could you, if you got like a strong clamp, then you could with a Sony FX3, for example, but with the Pixis camera, probably not. The point I'm trying to make is that you can use this to get some really interesting angles. So yeah, that's this little base plate that I'm currently using or testing out at the minute. And you can swivel it. You can take the main stand off. Hold on. You can take the stand, swivel it off. So it's not as if you have to load it into the car like this. Yeah. Okay. We've already touched on should you start a YouTube channel in 2026, and just to go back to that, and it takes a lot of work to start a YouTube channel, and I think what I think it's easy for us who do filmmaking and who already have the cameras, the lights and things like that to start a YouTube channel, because it's very easy for us to visually demonstrate what we're talking about because we have the experience. But yeah, just to finalize on that, if you are thinking about starting a YouTube channel, you're a filmmaker, a videographer, a photographer, I highly recommend doing it, and just do it for the passion, just do it for the hobby, and then eventually things get, they build. If you watch my first video, it's terrible, it's awful, and what I found is that through the years, you slowly figure out what the channel is, who you want to be as a brand, as in, the channel itself, what kind of thumbnails do you want to do, what kind of things do you want to be talking about. And there's been a lot of times where I've shot a YouTube video and it's just been terrible, and I just didn't post it because I wanted a certain level of quality and a standard when posting, and I'm just not consistent enough. I'm not consistent enough to get monetized. But the thing is, it's like I don't want to be an influencer. I want to be a cinematographer and videographer first, and not an influencer first and a videographer. I think that's really important to clearly distinguish the two, and to be to be one or the other. Not, that was the topic of conversation last year, was all these YouTubers were getting sent these products, and it's like, can you be a filmmaker, a proper filmmaker and a YouTuber, or can you be just a YouTuber and you do some filmmaking on the side? Because I see these filmmaking YouTube channels and they're posting all the time. They don't have clients that they have to create content for, because there is no way that they could produce without an editor full time. There is no way that they can, they use the same cutaway footage, same B-roll. There is no way that they could be delivering high quality videos to clients and upload weekly to a YouTube channel. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they've got a team behind them. But I don't know. So yeah, just to summarize, if you're thinking about it, start a YouTube channel in 2026, because eventually it will take years to build up, but eventually you will get sent free stuff, and just get sent products to do. Just make sure you do an honest review on those, and just make sure that you let people know that it's an endorsement. Yeah, so I'm just going to quickly touch upon upcoming videos that's in the pipeline. One is a lens review on the 7 Artisan 14mm. I've been using that lens quite a lot. It's a great lens. Low light performance is not great, and you do get some distortion when you're wide open on the lens. But I'm doing a review on that lens, and I want to really. I haven't done a lens review in in years. So it'll be really good to do a review on a lens. And again, I want to spend my time with it, spend my time on the lens, and just figure out what's wrong with it, what's good about it, and what's bad about it. You know, specifically for the Pixis 6K. You know, the title's going to be something like, is this the most, because it is a really affordable lens for what you're getting, is this the most affordable lens for the Pixis 6K? That's going to be the whole topic of conversation. And then another thing, I'm going abroad for 5 days. I can't say where, but I'm going to do, it's a great opportunity to do a GoPro review, because it will be, there's a lot that I could do with that GoPro on that trip. So the GoPro Action 4, expect a review on that, I guess camera. Do a review on that camera. All the things like sound, the sound input, its capabilities, 4K, the frame rates. Yeah, I think it'll be really cool. So if anyone knows any ideas that I could do with that, that would be great to let me know. Because I haven't done GoPros and things like that. It's not something I've got huge experience in. So, I want to just put it, I don't want to destroy it, but at the same time I don't want to just do, put it on a little tripod thingy and just be like, look, it shoots this, it shoots that. I want to actually like test it out in all of its capabilities and what it can do. For me, the biggest thing that's happened in the past 7 days is the update that Premiere Pro have done. And what's the biggest talking point is the fact that you can automatically hold on. The fact that you can automatically there you go. The fact that you can automatically keyframe subjects, which has been in Adobe Lightroom for a long time, but it hasn't been in Premiere Pro, but now it is here. Now, literally 5 minutes before the stream, I downloaded the recent Premiere Pro, just quickly found some footage and exported it. So this is literally completely fresh. I have not tested this. I have not got this prepared. I have not got this ready. So I'm going to be figuring it out as we go along together. So I literally downloaded it like a minute before the stream, because I just had the idea to test it out. But obviously I had the older version, so I hadn't updated it yet. Just making sure no one's called in. No. Okay, let's test this. Let's have a look at this. So this is from this is a shot from the library scene from the film Promises that I did in 2024, I think it was. But I felt like it was a good. This is Seb, which I've worked with so many times, but fantastic actor. But I thought this shot would be good because it's on an 80mm on the Greatjoy Anamorphics, so you've got a lot of depth that's happening and quite easily be able to separate the two, what's in focus and what not. Not that I know how these keyframes will work, but I feel like this is good. So okay, is it that easy? Is that literally it? What the? So how do you... Hold on. Is it because my hard drive was disconnected? So why... Oh, I should have tested this before the stream. Oh, that's a shame. Because I was quite... Oh my goodness. Why is it not... Oh, I had it. I literally had it. What was... Okay, I'll look at... Oh, that's a real shame, because I really wanted to see what... I wanted to see what was going on. Oh, that's annoying. Let me try with this other clip. Or is that the same clip? No, that's the timeline. Let me try with this one. Or do you need to select the clip itself? No. Okay. Hold on. Let me... Not that... Is anyone watching? Anybody? Let me refresh the chat just in case. No, of course not. Okay, right. File, close all projects. Okay. Right, let me try and boot this back up. I don't know if that will do anything, but we'll try. I don't know why it's not... I want to read that message. Oh, that's so annoying. What am I doing wrong? Does anybody out there know what I'm doing wrong here? Because I really wanted to test this out. But then why can't I... Oh, okay. I'm just gonna move on. From maybe on so there's no stream next week. It's the first time that we're breaking that. This is the first time that we're breaking the we've been doing it weekly for I don't know, like I want to say like 8 weeks. Maybe I'm over maybe like 6 weeks, 7 weeks. Anyway, this is the first time that we're not doing the weekly streams. But next week, I'm not doing the stream. I was going to move it to Thursday, but I thought no, I just need the week off, basically. But anyway, I think for next stream that we'll do, I'll actually, instead of just doing it just before the stream, I'll actually look at this and figure it out properly. It's really bugging me that I don't know why it's doing that, because it should just work, right? It literally came up and it said it was working. So maybe it's a case of, or maybe it's because I'm streaming. I'm using OBS. Let's get this. Let's get this back up, because quite frankly, I haven't got any other conversation topics. To be honest, this is it. This is all we've got. So let me get this back up. There we go. Please select a clip. Okay, so first you have to select a clip. Okay, done that. There we go. Okay, right, now it's working. Okay, now it's working. So, how do you... So what does this do? So then, how do you... Yeah, but then what do you... Oh, I've already got masks there. So then do you then go into the effects and you go into... Oh, I hate working like this. Because normally I've got it on this monitor that I'm looking at right now for the stream. So I'm not used to working on, it's really small on here. So let's see. So, okay. Okay. So it was adding it. Okay, fine. Right, we've got this mask. And let's put... So how do you reverse it? Blend mode, add. Okay, there we go. So then... Invert. Okay. So then why is that not... Invert. Feather. Opacity. But then how do you add... No. Okay. Ooh. So what I want to do, what I'm trying to do is... I forgot I was on... For a second, I forgot I was on stream. What I'm trying to do is get the background and completely make the background... What I'm looking to do in the future is like add text behind a subject that's moving. I think that'll be cool, and I want to do it beforehand so I can do it for the GoPro review. But now what I'm trying to do is oh, that hasn't... Oh, hold on. I'm not going to do it here on stream. It's too complicated. What I'm going to do is actually look at it properly, and we're going to go through it together properly in like a few weeks' time, and just see what works and what doesn't work. We've been going for... I don't want to start ending the stream so early, because it's only been 35 minutes. But then I've got nothing else really. I'll tell you what. I'm going to talk. I'm going to talk about the Premiere Pro and the fact that we spoke about this a little bit last time on the stream. But I've found out that the Apple Creative Studio package is, I think it was like £12 a month, around that ballpark, or I think it was $12. And that's really interesting, the fact that provides all those creative platforms, whilst Adobe's platforms, which, yes, they are more targeted for professionals, but Adobe is like £60 a month if you have everything. For just Premiere Pro, it's like, I think, like £20 a month, I'm not sure. But it's almost like Adobe needs to bring these features, the one that we just went through. Obviously, I need to like look at it properly. But they need to roll those features out quicker and more efficiently, because there's so many other editing softwares that are catching up with them. I want to... Again, I've sort of held off on talking about AI and filmmaking and AI, because everyone's talking about it and it's just this dead conversation that everyone keeps bringing up. It's an important conversation, but I just feel like every influencer and everyone on social media are talking about in AI, right? That's all. I feel like that's all it is at the minute on social, is just the like AI stuff. Not all, but you know what I mean, like a lot of. But the reason I bring it up is like, I don't like editing. I'm not the best at editing. I'm waiting for AI to be implemented in a really serious way into Adobe Premiere Pro, because what I don't want it, and I've looked at AI softwares and AI companies that you can use it to like integrate, and I think they're great. I haven't like tested it out properly, but I think so far what I've seen, it's like £12-15 a month, but like I can see value in that in the long run, especially when it comes to like subtitling and things like that. But what I'm talking about is AI being implemented into Adobe Premiere Pro in terms of lighting, being able to manually change the lights. You can see that there's a little bit of shadow on Seb's face coming down here. Imagine if you could literally, and I've seen it, but I just don't know. It's for people who don't have all the lights, but I've got all the lights, so it's like, why would I not just do it in real time? But what would be great, being able to get that light and then to move it, and I've seen it, people creating like backlights and all of this using AI, and I think that would be a really good implementation into Adobe Premiere Pro. Not only that, but like saying, give me a rough cut of a scene, give me a rough cut of, this, and I think then you will just do the minor tweaks. that would be great. You could speed up your editing workflow. You can deliver videos much quicker. And I have seen it already. You put everything into the timeline, and it clips it all. But it's just for social stuff and for the projects, I'd just rather just do. I have creative freedom. I'd rather just do it myself. It doesn't take long to clip a project and to just put them together. Or maybe even you clip the project together and you do the best you can. You produce, maybe the human produces the rough cut, and then the AI, you put it through AI, and then it will render and improve your cut and just make it, so it jumps on the beat. The transitions are nicer. You could say like, oh, give me a little bit flashier transitions, more like 80s flair transitions. Boom, it'll just do it, and it'll just get, do those transitions. It'll just be really easy. I'm hoping that that's the kind of implementation we'll see in Adobe Premiere Pro. Is just making my life as someone who creates for clients easier and quicker. Hold on. Yeah, that's it really. I've managed to stretch it out to the 40-minute mark. I think 40 minutes is fine. Well, let's not stretch it out. Let's not stretch it out when it doesn't need to be stretched out. But like I said at the beginning, of this stream, there's really not much. I'm quiet in terms of work. There's not really much happening in the world of filmmaking. I was going to briefly talk about the films I've watched, but to be honest with you, I don't think anyone's watching, so I don't really want to be talking about films that I've watched. So yeah, I just don't think it's. I don't think there's much point in talking about films that I've seen, unless there's people here that say like, oh yeah, that's a good film. I love that scene and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm gonna end the stream. Again, it's pretty much been the same as last week's. There's not much going on. I think there'll be more when it comes to when work picks up and there's more things to talk about, and there's new cameras coming out, new lenses coming out, and new innovations within the industry. I feel like then I'd have a lot more to talk about. In previous streams beforehand, there's been a lot of new equipment. I mean, 2025 was huge for how much equipment there was that in terms of cameras, lights, and there are. I know that there's still some bits that are coming out, but it's not the same. There's nothing that excites me. So yeah, when like things like IBC come about, I could say like, this is the booth I'm going to go to, this is the people I'm going to talk to, what questions do you guys have for them, and I could talk to these people, for you guys. But yeah, at the minute it's just quiet, but I'm going to continue doing the weekly streams. Like I said, I'm going to wrap it up now. Like I said, next week there's not going to be a stream at all in the week. I'll put it in the chat, in our Instagram chat, that there's not going to be any streams, but I think the following week, I need to double check, I think the following week the streams will continue, and I want to get another guest. I don't want to burn out on guests, I need to spread them out a little bit, but I will get another guest onto the stream, so you guys can ask questions, because I feel like the stream that I did with Isaac was really good. We had a conversation, it was involving other people. So yeah, if you're new here and you're a new subscriber, welcome. I hope you enjoyed the stream. I don't think anyone's been watching, but I'm Jared Parker. You can follow me on Instagram and join our group chat that we've got, where I update everyone on the latest equipment, reviews, YouTube videos, when the live streams are happening and when they're not happening. And yeah, that is everything. Thank you guys for watching. Sorry this stream's been a little bit lackluster, same as last week, but yeah. And sorry about I really was hoping to, I shouldn't have done it last minute, it's my own fault. But yeah, sorry about it. Next time we'll do it properly, and I'll show you how it can be used for a clip. Maybe the clip's too long, I just need to look at it a little bit more. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will end it here, and I will see you in 2 weeks' time-ish.